Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. We're getting toward the end of May. Can you believe that? Oh, got a great lineup today. Some fun things and some important things as well. Rachel Houglum, I hope I pronounced her name right, from Women Helping Women Fund. They've been around for a couple of decades doing great things, helping women and children, and we'll talk about that. One of my old friends, I don't mean it in terms of age, Mari Clack helped establish that program I think, early 1990s. Ryan Sheehan from the Spokane Airport is going to be here, and they are on top of things out there, dealing with new signs, new procedures, new everything to keep up to date, in addition to some great new destinations from our Spokane Airport. And then Sue Lani Madsen, the host of Meet the Candidate. Today, this afternoon at around 1 o'clock, we start our third year of doing Meet the Candidate series, and that's where candidates get to come in for 10 minutes and talk about who they are, what they want to do, why they're running for office. No technical or tough questions, just a chance for you as a viewer to see who the candidates are, because some of them we've not met before. Connor's Call on the Weather next on Spokane Talks Live.
Hello Spokane, this is Connor from Spokane Talks Online with your 5-day weather forecast. Today looks to be mostly cloudy skies with a high of 73 with a low of 45. Tomorrow will clear out with a high of 69 and a low of 47. Thursday, the clouds will return with a high of 69 and a low of 46. Friday, we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high of 69 and a low of 49. Saturday looks to be also mostly sunny skies with a high of 71 and a low of 48. Thank you for listening in. I hope you have a great day.
Hi everyone, I'm weather forecaster and assignment anchor at Spokane Talks Online, Colin Pittman, and I am honored to be the host of the new program, Spokane's Youth Spotlight, brought to you by Spokane Talks Online and the Spokesman Review, where we are interviewing and getting to know outstanding youth in our community each month. If you'd like to nominate someone in our community that you think should be recognized, that is doing something great here in the region or has an amazing story, visit SpokaneTalksOnline.com or Spokesman.com and look under Youth Spotlight to nominate. And be sure to tune in each month as we find the best in the Inland Northwest.
Welcome back. Good to have you. It's a fun day. It's a sunny day outside. We'll see what happens as the weather starts to cool off a little bit this week. Rachel Houglum from the Women Helping Women Fund is here. Now, Rachel, I remember attending way back, I want to say in the early 1990s. Sure. Now, when did Women Helping Women, when did that fund begin?
Right. We were formed in 1992, and the first luncheon was 93.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that goes back. We won't talk about how far back and all that. Mari Clack and I were younger then.
Yeah, I think all of us were.
Oh, it's a great program. I remember attending several, and I mentioned to you when you came in earlier that I could always count on it because it was the Monday after Bloomsday, and then things changed. Yep. I'm going to guess in order to get some of the speakers to come in and so forth, you kind of have to work around their schedules as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of different factors, including mainly that keynote speaker.
Yeah.
We've brought in a lot of high-profile speakers, and sometimes their schedules are busy, so you have to
They're
work
not always
around
available
that.
the Monday
They're not
after.
always available according to our schedule, so we do have to work around that. And we're also the largest plated event held in Spokane, so the convention center does have to consider that when they're accommodating us.
Now, how many do you have? How many? You just held us what, a week or so ago?
We did, yeah. So last week we had 1,650 guests.
Wait. 1,600? I think
true.
when I was attending, it was a couple hundred.
Yeah, the first luncheon held 700.
Okay.
And it went up from there. For the last 10 years, we've averaged over 1,700. Last year we had 2,100 guests.
Oh my gosh!
It's pretty incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
And tell me about the reason for forming this.
Right. Yeah, I think the 6 women that founded the organization in '92, they knew that there was a great need in Spokane. They're hearing lots of stories about women that aren't able to achieve their educational goals. So many single moms that are living in poverty, so many children that are having setbacks.
And we do have, unfortunately, a higher number of single women raising kids here,
it's
don't
true.
we?
Unfortunately, most of our about half of our single moms with young children are living in poverty in Spokane. So they're aware of these issues, but they knew that there were a lot of nonprofits in Spokane that were serving the need, but yet we still had that shortcoming. And there were a lot of people at the same time in Spokane that wanted to be generous and help, and they didn't know how. So they formed this organization.
Put it together. Yeah.
And they'll be the middleman.
Oh.
And so they'll
The
take
middleman.
Yeah, the middlewoman.
Okay.
Maybe. It's probably a better term for us. And they'll invite the community to become involved and to become aware of the need. And so they invite everyone to lunch, ask everyone to give. When you bring that many people together, it creates quite a few funds that we're able to give to the
That's
nonprofits.
great. Now, what did you raise this year?
Yeah, this year it was $317,000.
Now, is that the highest? Is that a kind of average?
It was the second highest.
Second highest.
In our history.
Okay. When was the highest?
Yeah, the highest was in 2012.
Okay.
And it was $335,000.
All right. Well, that's really tremendous. And I think perhaps not just the money raised, it's the issues and the awareness that's brought to the forefront, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's important too, because they might walk away and they fund you, and maybe they get involved in some of the organizations that you fund on their behalf, and so forth. Who are some of the folks that you're going to support this year?
Right.
Because how many were selected?
17.
17.
We have 17 local nonprofits.
I'm going to guess more than that probably applied.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That look was like, that's an understatement. Yeah.
Over the years, the number of grants that applications that we receive has increased, and unfortunately, we have to say no more often than we are able to say yes. But I think that lends to the value that we're able to provide.
Okay.
That we're vetting those organizations and making sure that those that receive these funds are meeting critical needs.
Yep.
They're not duplicating efforts.
Right.
And they're going to be good stewards of the money that we're able to grant to them.
I remember way back, this had probably been a decade or two before you were even born, when I was at then Washington Water Power, and we got together a lot of corporate folks in town that were on the giving side and controlling those dollars. And part of our concern at that time was duplication. And so what I hear you saying is that you really are watching out for some of that, so that maybe if there are organizations that have some of the very similar goals, that maybe you can put them together and fund a joint effort.
Right, absolutely, yeah. That's definitely one of our goals. It's also our goal that the organizations are measuring their impact.
Okay.
And so we ask those organizations to report back twice during
What
their
a
grant
novel
year.
idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Show your worth, right?
Yes, exactly. And they're doing incredible work, and
Yeah.
so we want them to be able to speak to that so that we can report out as well.
Are there a couple of new and different organizations that got funded this year that you can tell us about?
Sure, absolutely. One of the ones that we're very excited about that was funded this past year, so it's ongoing and then will be funded next year.
Okay.
We highlighted at our luncheon this year, but it's for the construction trades.
Okay,
and
sure.
so they know that there are a lot of jobs available within Spokane, all of the construction that's going on that many people
and a
are
lot of
aware
women who could work there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of those jobs are very high paying, or they provide that financial stability.
Talk about getting
a
a family out of poverty.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Exactly. And so they allow that we've funded all female classes. So the women are able to come in. They're not intimidated potentially by a co-ed class. They come into an all-female class.
Okay.
In 6 weeks, they come out with 10 certifications, hands-on training. They've been able to go all the way through, and they're ready to be employed.
Rachel, do you follow them with a camera or anything like that?
Sure. The city actually has been able to film quite a bit, and then we did highlight them at our luncheon video this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I'd like you to do. I'm thinking out loud here because I mentioned we have conversations.
Yeah.
Let's get some of that footage, and let's get one of the candidates to come on in a month or so.
That'd be great.
And talk about what she learned and what prospects she has for jobs and what that's going to do. Because you and I can talk for an hour here about how great all this is, but let's show people the effect that it has, the positive effect it has on someone's life. and on their kids and everything else that
Yeah.
goes with it. Because that's what's
yeah.
important, isn't it?
It is, and that's exactly what we were able to highlight last week. We
Oh,
brought
fun.
up a graduate of the class.
Oh, fun.
She's now been employed. She worked on the carousel downtown.
Oh, fun.
Both of her daughters were there and able to see her mom get up on stage
Oh,
and
fun.
speak in front of 1,600 people about what
sure
this
I didn't
job
want to
means.
do that.
Yeah, I know. Very
Yeah.
brave.
Okay, we're running out of time, unfortunately. This is a great program. We want to have you back. We want to
Sure.
do that, okay?
That'd be
So let's
great.
keep in touch. Let's tell people how they can learn more about Women Helping Women Fund,
Sure.
okay?
Yep. So definitely go to our website, whwfspokane.org. We've got a newsletter that you can sign up for
Okay.
and kind of get some of those updates. And then Facebook. It's a great way to connect.
Yeah, welcome to the 21st
Right.
century, right? Rachel, thank you. Thanks for, I believe you have an all-women board.
We do.
Eh, what
20
you-
women.
20 women. All right, great. Well, this is fun. This is exciting. This is empowering.
It is.
And it's good for Spokane. So thank you for what you do and for the organization, okay?
Sure. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
It was our pleasure. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back and talk about all things airport right after this.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods, 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
You're really doing it. You're ready to buy a house. You know what you can afford, you've got a pre-approval letter, and you and your partner haven't killed each other yet. Now's the fun part. First, think about your main requirements.
Location,
House type,
square footage,
number of beds and baths,
Garage.
property age,
Then think about specific features.
waterfront,
pool,
local schools,
neighborhood safety,
walking distance to parks.
proximity to a decent Turkish bathhouse.
From there, input all your search criteria. Min and max prices, number of beds and baths, single fam, multifam, condo, co-op, villa, townhouse, farm, whatever. You can even draw your own custom search around the neighborhood you want. The open house is the most fun you can have in real estate. It's like having carte blanche to walk into a total stranger's house and snoop around while they're not there. Here are a few pointers. First, feel free to step in without knocking or ringing the bell. Unless you see a note saying otherwise, in which case, yes, knock and/or ring. It's generally considered good open house etiquette to wait until a group of buyers leaves a room or area before entering.
What we were talking about. Let's check it out. I know, so
Listen to what other buyers are saying. They may know something about the property or neighborhood that you don't.
I bet they don't even know they have
Oh,
this.
no. Ask questions about the house, how long it's been on the market, the school district, the property taxes, but keep it cool. Don't give yourself away by sounding too excited.
And the schools in this area are incredible. They're actually building a brand new one 3 blocks away. What? And it should be open in the middle of next year.
Please do not steal. Finally, if there are snacks or refreshments, do not take them. It'll skew your perspective. Unless they're mini quiches. Those little are tasty as hell.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. And one of my favorite things to talk about are airplanes. I once started to take flying lessons and figured way back in my YMCA days it was too expensive to do on a Y director salary, but I loved flying and so forth. And one of our interns just got his license the matter of the last few days, and so around a lot of things flying. And I look at our airport, Geiger Fields, Spokane Airport, and we just continue to improve things. We had Larry on, the executive director for the airports, I think a month ago or so. And you know, Ryan, what I was really pleased to see was the constant staying on top of things, looking at the lines to go through the TSA, and that's being addressed and going to be addressed and ready to go, added line and so forth for the summer's travel, which starts here pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then it was, Kent, one of the things we've had issues with is parking as we continue to expand the airport offerings and so forth, as we need more low-cost parking and so forth, and that's being dealt with this summer, so that by the time we have the holiday session, Thanksgiving through Christmas, we're going to have more parking out at the airport.
Yes.
And then one of the things I saw the other day, the reason you're here, is you're continuing to increase the visibility and the signage and so forth. Tell us what's going on there.
So the airport embarked about a year ago on a project to replace and update some of the wayfinding and signage into the airport. And I think as Larry mentioned when he was on about a month ago, we've seen unprecedented growth, which means a lot of new visitors to the airport.
Yes.
People who
well,
aren't...
even the old-timers, when you switch things on us, we got to figure out what, right?
Yeah, and the signs don't always keep up when the gates move or the traffic lanes change.
Yes.
So it was time for an update.
Good.
And so we started construction last fall on some new overhead sign bridges. And then this spring, we're finishing that project up now, which included the construction of 2 new sign structures, replacement of 2 others, and then updating of some of the signs and some of the existing structures.
Wow.
One of my favorite parts of the project is an electronic message sign, which the power is being fed to it this week, and it'll be commissioned next week. And that sign will provide dynamic information to people coming to the airport. We hope eventually to tie that into our parking management system so that we can provide live information. So as you're coming to the airport, you'll see which lots are full, which lots have lots
that would
of
be
room,
helpful, right?
What the rates are, and kind of help with that decision-making process.
Right.
You know, about a minute before you get to that decision.
So hopefully people are putting down their phones and able to read it as they're
yeah,
coming into
the
the
in front of you as you're coming up into the airport.
We won't go
heads
there.
Up.
Yeah. What else is being? I mean, what is your job there? To oversee what?
So I'm the Director of Operations and Maintenance for Spokane Airports, and that's both Spokane International Airport and Phelps Field.
Okay.
And my job is essentially to oversee a lot of the day-to-day functions that keep the airport open and operating. So I have a staff that oversees airfield safety, regulatory compliance with FAA regulations out on the airfield, and then just the basic maintenance functions, keeping the lights on, the grass cut, the lines painted on the roads and runways, and all of those things to make sure that the customer experience is seamless from entry to exit.
So you work 20 out of 24 hours a day?
On average.
On average.
Yeah.
It's a big job, isn't it?
It is.
Because you really want the locals and others as they leave and new people coming into Spokane. This is their first sight, other than outside the window as they're landing, of Spokane.
Yeah.
Their first impression, isn't it?
Yeah, we really see it as the front door to the region.
Right.
As people come in, it's the first thing they see when they get off the plane. It's the last thing they see when they leave. So it leaves that impression as you're exiting. We want to make sure that that experience is, really top notch. And so recently, in addition to signage, and you mentioned additional parking and improving the security experience, Wi-Fi upgrades to improve the customer experience. The airport recently embarked on an upgrade to the Wi-Fi system, trying to improve that experience. So just trying to make that whole process as seamless as possible from entry to boarding your plane.
And then starting, in a year and a half, we're going to be looking at new baggage area and everything else, too.
Yeah, we're really
So you're really
looking
thinking
forward to
down
that.
the line.
Yeah, we're trying to think ahead and looking at the growth that we've been experiencing and kind of projecting out and forecasting what that's going to be to make sure that we right-size those developments for the future.
Yeah, I think Larry was saying something in the last 2 years or so, the growth has been the equivalent of 8 or 10 years.
Yeah, it's been significant.
Yeah. And how do you plan for that? You just do the best you can. And I mean, you hope that a lot of things fall in line and come. I think of our nonstop service to a number of new cities and so forth. And sometimes that takes a long time to get approved and and so forth, and sometimes they all come at once. It seems like that's what the last 18 months has been.
Well, it would be super easy if everything came sequentially. And
if they checked with you to when it would be okay.
Yeah, but it is really, we like to say it's a great challenge to have. It's the best kind of problem. We're excited about the new service. We're excited about the passenger numbers and meeting these challenges to make sure that we're able to continue to serve the community.
And a number of years back, I remember when I first came to Spokane 42 years ago, there were days you could not land in Spokane because of the fog, and we've pretty much gotten rid of that problem, haven't we?
By and large, yeah. The instrumentation,
it's not perfect, but
the landing systems that we have are really they're the best that are available today through the FAA, and not every aircraft is able to take advantage of those, but there's more and more all the time that are able to use those systems.
Right.
So.
Well, congratulations to you, Larry, and Todd, and everybody else working out there, because we're all very proud of our airport, and you're on the front line every single day, making it work, and that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Sue Lani Madsen and talk about Meet the Candidate right after this.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Well, welcome back. I was going to say I have an old friend, but people might interpret that as looking at either of us as meaning, well, yes, Kent, you're old. We go back to Mirabou Point, what, 20 years ago?
97.
Was it
1997.
Wow.
That's when we started working on that.
Sue Lani Madsen, you're coming back for the third year to host Meet the Candidate. That literally starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
It does. It was your brainchild, and you just kind of
blame me.
Yeah, but it's been very interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about maybe some of them, without mentioning names, some of the characters we've had on. But I was really pleased last fall in an election that I would call a really off election, meaning.
Well, we call them off-year elections because they don't have statewide candidates. It's all local offices, usually all local
It was mainly
offices.
city and
Mostly
Board of
city,
Education.
County, yeah.
Important, and very important.
Very
I don't want to play it down, but not the sexy races that you have when it's a governor or a representative or a senator or something like that, even at the state level. We had 25,000 people watch the videos last year.
Yeah, they're not the high-profile races, but they are the ones that are very important to people's everyday lives.
And often the ones that, because based on some unsolicited emails we've received saying, hey, thanks, didn't know who these people were.
Right.
Which is the opportunity.
Because they don't have a big budget to send everybody three mailers.
Don't have budgets
Some
at all.
don't have any budget at all. So we're just trying to let people meet them, and that's the whole point of Meet the Candidate. Is not. It's totally not a political conversation. Sometimes a candidate wants to turn it that way, but my questions are all about where'd you grow up and what are some experiences you've had that shaped you as a kid.
Others, including the newspaper, and others are doing the issues and so forth. And I get that. We could do that too. But I think sometimes it's just that 10 minutes of who is this person? Can they speak about themselves? The one thing they know the best, and that's about themselves and their background.
Right.
And some of them we have experienced weren't terribly articulate, were they?
Well, everybody has a different communication style. Some people, it's harder to
Oh, you're
talk.
being nice.
Well, I enjoy this because I
Yeah.
really like people.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to be put on the spot. It's just an opportunity it's the kind of chat you'd have with somebody that you just met,
Over a cup of coffee.
on a bus ride that you're
Right.
and you're sitting next to somebody in the seat. You're just chatting, introducing yourself.
Yeah, and you have a series of questions that you ask everybody, right?
I do. I
So
want
you're not
to be
picking and
fair.
choosing.
Right. I want to be
Right.
fair and keep. Now, again, it's a conversation, so sometimes there's something interesting that somebody says, and we follow up on that. But
Right.
it's all focused on experiences that you've had and how they shape you, because we all know how that's what shapes our worldview is those experiences we have as a child, as a young adult, in work, in play.
And why they want to step up and give up some time and privacy.
Right. And I do ask
You know.
that's a question I do want to ask
Right.
everybody is what prompted you to volunteer for this? Because it's not an easy thing to do.
Yep.
Why did you decide to? Not everybody decides that they have to save the world and volunteer for public office. And I want to ask everybody to how do you see this office, and why should
Right.
voters choose you? They all get the last minute and a half for their
whatever they want to say.
They call it I call it their elevator pitch, but
Right.
last minute and a half. Here's your opportunity. One of the things that made me say yes when you asked if I would host is that I am
Certainly wasn't the pay.
no was that I am seriously concerned about apathy.
Yes.
And
yes.
and so one of the things that creates apathy is, there's all these there's 10 people on the ballot. I don't
So
know how
I
many of
won't
them
even
are.
bother.
I'm not going to bother. Right?
Yeah,
It's choice overload is what they call that. So I think this is a way to get past that.
Yeah. So are you ready? We're talking about in the next half hour.
Yeah. I was gonna. I don't actually look up a lot of information about people beforehand because I treat it just as I'm just getting acquainted too. Now, obviously, some people I've met before, they've been candidates before, and
Right.
but I just assume that we have a new crop of voters every year, and so they need
A
to
new
get
viewer.
acquainted. New
Yep.
viewers, they need to
Right.
get acquainted. So we just do the same routine. I just hope that I don't ask a question that turns out to be awkward. But
Or the one question you ask candidate A, why should you've got 1 minute left, why should you vote for candidate B?
It only happened once,
Yeah.
and I just, because I had just interviewed, I don't remember, I'm not,
You had
without
just-
going to names, it's like John and Dave. So
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
just interviewed John, and then Dave is there, and I say, so why should people vote for John? And he said, well, they shouldn't, they should vote for Dave. Good answer.
I thought
Can
it
we
was
record
a
that
beautiful
again?
answer. I thought it was a beautiful answer, and it shows that
It had been a long day. Some of these days I will have a dozen or more.
Yeah, you start
6
some days at 10 in the
Right.
morning and go till 5.
Right.
So yeah.
Occasionally the ones at the end. If I look rummy, you can tell when I was recording that.
Okay. Well,
We'll
I look
try not-
rummy all the time, so I don't know what my excuse is.
We'll
but
try
Sue Lani,
not to.
this is great. Again, thank you for doing this, and I know. We have about 40 of the 88.
40 out of the 88. I mean, goes to everybody. The invitations went to everybody who was on the Spokane County ballot.
Right.
The contested races, because that cuts it down a little bit. Plus the 4 candidates in the 2 contested races in the 13th legislative district, which abuts Spokane. And
Right.
because I'm from Lincoln County and that's my legislative district. I want to get
There's a little
that
chance
in.
to own this.
Well,
isn't there?
and there are an awful lot of ties there
Yeah.
of people who commute to Spokane. It's one market area.
Right,
so.
right. Well, it is. Well, actually, we're worldwide, so
That's true.
Theoretically, it could be a little larger than
Anyway,
this.
that made the list.
And we'd have
88.
to have a bunkhouse out back for you. Okay, Sue Lani, thank you. I know you're going to get ready for your first candidate this afternoon, and we look forward to this. And thanks for doing it again. Third year's a charm.
Yeah, we're sort of getting the hang of it here.
We are. Yeah. And I think for the first time, we're actually going to live stream both on Facebook and YouTube as you do it. Now, the 1 o'clock might be at 1:03 or something like
Right,
that. We're
right,
talking about rough times. And then it goes up on our website, and we have a page there already that's just sitting there and starting tonight. Our tech guys will download the ones from YouTube to our webpage, and people can go there anytime, and off we go. We're off to the races.
And the last 2 years, you've migrated computer systems in the middle of the campaign
Of course,
season, and
yes.
this year you've promised not to do that.
No, I've spent all the money I can spend. My
Okay.
business partner won't let me spend any more, okay? Although last time it was my money. But anyway, fun thing. I'm looking forward to this because this is, I believe, let's remind folks, we have 4 community sponsors that stepped up to help fund this because we don't really make any money off this, but it costs us money for staff and everything else to do this. Greater Spokane Incorporated stepped up for the first time. We thank them. Ponderosa Republican Women's Club stepped up, I think, for the second or third time.
That's the second year.
Yes. And then We Believe, We Vote stepped up again. And then Better Spokane. Better Spokane sponsored some of our debate things last year and moved over to meet the candidate this year. And we really do thank them because their dollars help keep the lights on and the cameras rolling and everything else.
Pay for all that equipment that's not going to change again this year.
No, it's not going to change, I promise. I said it on the air, okay? All right. Do I have to sign something too?
Yeah, we'll just sign it in blood.
Okay, afterwards. All right, thanks, Sue Lani. Good to have you. We're going to take a break until tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We'll see you then. In the meantime, watch us this afternoon for Meet the Candidate. Have a great day, everybody.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.